This is TWiT.
We're very proud to have Tom Gallagher, the CEO of the American Radio Relay League. Tom, how are you doing tonight?
Well, we're holding up pretty well, Bob. Thank you. With a lot of support from our staff and an awful lot of support from our friends, including you. So thanks.
Well, a lot of people don't realize how important it is to make ham radio play. And we do every day, but boy, now we really have to make it play. What I'm most proud of is we're seeing a lot of press. A very nice video that Fox News has played around the country. I saw this the other day in Milwaukee, and I mean, it's playing all over the country, and I really appreciate that. And I'm sure you do too, Tom, because tell us a little bit about what's going on at the league in Newington. You're just going crazy, I'm sure. What are you doing to help everything happen right now?
Well, thanks, Bob. This began on Friday night a week ago, about 10:30. Mike Corey, our emergency preparedness manager, got a call late that night from the Red Cross, and they said, can you muster 50 accomplished radio operators to go down to Puerto Rico? And he said, when? And they said, ASAP. So we had a conference call on Saturday to work out the details. Sunday night, we put out the call. Within 12 hours, 14 hours, we had literally hundreds of volunteers. And I think through the week, we got up to 450 volunteers. But we had to equip them. And
That's amazing.
Our inventory was very low from the prior two events. So we ordered, got delivered, tested, packed up into Pelican boxes, 25 radio kits, and had them out the door early, about 3 o'clock in the morning on Wednesday. And there you see them, and I think they are at Red Cross. Yes, they're at Red Cross headquarters in San Juan, being opened up and inspected by the operators. But this was, you know, a rapid deployment of the scale that we've never seen before. I mean, Red Cross has never asked us to do this, and I think the amateur radio community really did itself proud in not only turning out 50 people who went, but, you know, another 400 who didn't, but they're standing in reserve.
That's really wonderful. And you did this in a record time also. That's what's great about it. The gear is all packed in Pelican boxes, so away it goes. And what happens to it then when it leaves Newington? Where does it go?
Well, we were very fortunate. One of the major airlines has an arrangement with us to move our stuff for us, and they moved it to Atlanta. And Atlanta, Hartsfield Airport was the staging area. From 16 or 17 states across the country, the volunteers assembled in Atlanta, and then they got on a JetBlue flight to San Juan Thursday. They were there Thursday afternoon, and they were operating Friday morning. They were moving traffic Friday morning. They're doing really four things, and I want to include in this, Bob, also our Puerto Rican resident hams, our Puerto Rico residents who have been working nonstop as well. The hams down in Puerto Rico are doing four basic tasks. The first is moving health and welfare traffic from San Juan, from headquarters, back to the States over HF using WinLink. It's the fastest and most reliable method, and it allows Red Cross to more easily put the information into the Safe and Well website, that giant bulletin board. So if there are family members or friends who are looking for folks in Puerto Rico, check the Red Cross Safe and Well website. The second thing that they're doing is moving information around the various shelters. As soon as our operators got there, many of them went out into parts of the island that had had no contact since the storm left, even as far west as Mayaguez, which is the extreme western tip of Puerto Rico. We have a team out there at a shelter, and they populated most of the shelters. I think all of, or almost all of the hospitals have HF or VHF communications now because there's nothing else. So they're moving emergency traffic, and I've been looking at some of the traffic, and it's really, it brings tears to your eyes, the things that kids and old people need. This is a tragedy of old people and young people. The third thing that the hams are doing is that they're operating the radio systems for the police and the first responders, because they had trunk systems that went down completely. Just knocked right off the air, and they haven't come back. So there's a ham riding with most police officers and using 2 meters to dispatch. In addition, the utility company, I think it's called Perma, had a second network that they used for their repair trucks. That went down. So now the hams are providing communications for the utility company as well, since their radios don't work. And then the last task that they're doing is something that's really interesting and very much, I think, reflects the adaptability and, you know, the sort of MacGyver quality of ham radio operators. And they are helping to dispatch both water and electricity as the electrical grid comes back up and the water system comes back up. And obviously, you don't just sort of flip on a generator and walk away. You've got to manage that load. And the utility used to use their own private communications network. Well, that's gone now. So hams are doing that work too. So we ought to be really proud of them, not only for stepping into harm's way and committing 3 weeks of their lives to this, but for being so incredibly versatile and not worried about making a mistake, just going in there and getting the job done.
Well, we're really proud of everybody that's there. We're especially proud of our Valerie. She's just a real trooper, and when it comes to DX and contest work. But in doing that, she can handle traffic very well. Tom, have you been able to have any contact with Valerie?
Yeah, we speak to Valerie 3 or 4 times a day on her sat phone or on her cell phone. There's some limited cell connectivity in San Juan, but her sat phone is working, and you know, doing everything from giving us situation reports to finding out what types of radios were in use, so that Heil Sound could send us a bunch of gear, and we'd match it up with the right radios. And she did all of that work too. And Bob, I just want to say how grateful I am and how grateful the league and the board and the staff are for your generosity here. To date, we've raised about $110,000 for Ham Aid, an outpouring. You know, people sending a $25 contribution, some folks sending multi-$1,000 contributions. But I don't think I've ever seen a community step up the way this one has done that. And I'm real proud of them, too.
Well, we're really proud of all of the amateurs. And first thing Sarah said yesterday when we heard about the Valerie needed headsets, off they went. So I think she's got 25 or 30 Pro 7s headed down to Puerto Rico, and we're thrilled to be able to do that. Is there anything else we need to tell everybody here in closing, Tom? Anything that we need to really touch upon other than send some donations to this? That's very important, right?
Yeah, to Ham Aid, and I'd also say to the Red Cross, because, you know, we were the guests of the Red Cross down there. We couldn't have done it had they not asked us and sheltered and fed us. And the Red Cross is always there, and they're not only always there, they're always there first. So remember them in your contributions as well. I would say that to those who did not get selected for this mission, and it was almost first come, first serve, just stand by. There's going to be plenty of opportunities in the future, because I think the future of emergency communications today, we learned in Houston and we learned on the Keys, is just rapid deployment, sometimes to a place very far away. and it's something we've got to think about harder and train for. And I know you'll help, and I know that the amateur radio community will help too. But thanks again for having me on, and all the best to you.
We'll have you back on when things get a little better, and maybe had a little deal that you and Amanda and you and Valerie can talk about things and make it happen. Well, thanks for joining us tonight, and we'll stay in touch. You need anything, you know where we are.
Thank you, Bob. 7-3.